This time, Monica McNutt is going to be his analyst, so a great team there. What's going on? This Disney adult is loving this. Mickey and Minnie are going to be on the Spurs. Donald and Goofy are going to be on the Knicks.
Okay, so that's when they like take over the body of some of the players and they're in the game, right? Okay.
Yes. Now, Daisy Duck, because you might be asking, is going to be operating.
Yeah, I was wondering where she. Okay.
She's going to be the sideline reporter.
All right.
So we'll be getting interviews from her. Now, because it's
I didn't know
Christmas
she's
Day,
qualified for that. All right.
You know what? I think she is. If Marge and Lisa can do it, Daisy Duck's got this.
Okay, that's fair.
All right, so Santa, because remember, this is Christmas Day, after dropping off all the presents, he's going to be operating the Sky Cam, and his elves are going to be operating the game cameras. Now,
they're going to be up to shenanigans. I can already tell you that.
I already know. What's really fun about this one to me is it's the first sport that doesn't have helmets. So you're actually going to have to animate the heads of the players.
Yeah,
so that'll be kind of fun. But
all right, that's a little different.
It's going to be interesting. It'll be on Main Street.
Now there's
USA.
a halftime show, right?
A dunk contest between Mickey and his friends at halftime.
Whoa!
Gonna be tuning in. It might be just as big as Beyonce, but you didn't hear me say that.
Do we have can we get ESPN bet odds on the dunk contest? That'd be incredible, right?
Yeah, it's got to be out there somewhere. I cannot wait until baseball and they do this. Oh, that'll be real fun.
Are you saying that facetiously? I love this. I think
for football and the NBA it works, but I feel like it's going to be a good idea to run into the ground.
Oh, I can't wait to check this out. All right, coming up next, our resident NFL head coach. He's going to stop by, help us recap Monday Night Football. This is Game Night on ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike, and I just wanted to wish everyone a happy and healthy holiday and a happy new year. And a reminder to tune into Unsportsmanlike every weekday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
ESPN 1530.
I'm a firefighter.
A teacher.
I'm a farmer. I'm a barber.
A waitress.
A mom.
We're all part of your community. Every day we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good,
others not so much.
But that's life. It's when you experience a moment of uncertainty. Something or someone's behavior that doesn't seem quite right.
These are the moments to take a pause.
Because if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not.
It's not about paranoia
or being afraid.
It's about standing up and protecting our communities.
One detail at a time.
Because a lot of little details can become a pattern.
We
trust our instincts.
Just like you should.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
I'm Tiffany. I have some tips for you on how to quit smoking like I did. First, I did some reading about it. I found a lot of great advice on how to quit smoking and picked out the ways I thought would work best for me. I started by setting a quit date. Then I threw out my ashtrays, lighters, and matches. I did other things too, like exercising more, and it worked. But I'd still get cravings, especially on long car rides. To help me with that, I put a picture of my mother in my car. She died of lung cancer from smoking cigarettes when I was only 16. Now I have a 16-year-old daughter. That picture of my mother reminds me that I don't want to miss all the things my daughter is going to do in her life, including turning 17.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
Adopt U.S. Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Your official home for the Cincinnati Bengals, ESPN 1530.
And makes the shot. 19 first half points for Jalen to lead back to 13. And Drew Holiday steals the inbounds pass and lays it in. And that's the biggest lead of the night for the Celtics. With a minute to go in the first half.
Amanda just went to sleep then with that play.
That's twice that's happened.
98.5, the Sports Hub with the call. Brown had 35, but the Magic rallied from 15 down to win 108-104. It's Boston's third loss in their last 6 games. They were without Jason Tatum. Philadelphia beat San Antonio 111-106. Tyrese Maxey had 32 for the Sixers, including a dagger 3 with 30 seconds to go. Cleveland beat Utah 124-113 to go 26-4 on the season. The Cavs hit 20 threes, led by Sam Merrill's 6. New York whipped Toronto 139-125. OG Anunoby and Karl Anthony Towns both had 31 for the Knicks. And the Sabres snapped a 13-game slide, routing the Islanders.
Hey, it's Courtney Cronin. Coming up Tuesday, which team will land the #1 spot as my top challengers to the Chiefs? Find out at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Week 16 of the NFL season just wrapped up with the Green Bay Packers topping New Orleans 34-0. And we are a day and a half away from Week 17 getting started. This is Game Night on ESPN Radio. You can always hit us up on the Dr. Pepper call-in line, 888-729-3776, 888-SAY-ESPN. Alongside Andy Gresh, I'm Jonathan Zaslow. Let's bring back aboard. We talked to him pregame. We talked to him post-game. Our resident NFL head coach, ESPN NFL analyst, Coach Herm Edwards, joining us here. And, of course, the Monday Night Football recap is brought to us by Progressive Insurance. Coach, at this point in the season, when you're a team like Green Bay, who is clearly going to the playoffs, and you're facing a team that is so shorthanded like New Orleans, do you hold back at all, meaning you don't want to put all of your best stuff on tape? Do teams do that sometimes this late in the season in a game they feel comfortable going against a lesser opponent?
Yeah, and you just simplify some things, just feeling that, look, we're going to make it very simple. And Green Bay, obviously, it was the better team, and they knew that going in. They're playing at home. And I thought what they really kind of showed to everybody, especially going forward now, is that their ability to run the ball. They're a physical football team, a very physical football team. When you think about the Green Bay Packers, 48% of the time they run the football. When you think about Green Bay, we fall in this trap of, they throw it all over the place. Yeah, they throw it, but they're a running team, and they're a physical running team. They got 2 good backs. They run up in there, and I just think that they're a complete team. Quarterback's playing much better. I mean, he's calmed down. He's making better decisions with the ball, and their defense, was very athletic. So, this is the team that obviously is in a division that I tell you what, all these guys could end up with at least, maybe 13 wins or more, right, in that division, that NFC North. And they play next week. They play the Minnesota Vikings, so that'll be kind of interesting.
Coach, let me follow up on Jordan Love because I'm looking at the numbers right now. And in the early part of the year, he was irresponsible with the football. But what I also see in those games, Coach, are 39 attempts, 33, 32, 54, 34. Is the key to keeping Jordan Love calm the run game because maybe they can't lean on Love to throw it 40 or 50 times and go get a win?
Well, I think the way Coach likes to play it is the fact that there's something to be said about that. But I also think that he wants to be a physical football team. He understands that the division they're playing in, and who's everyone obviously looking at, is the Detroit Lions. The way they have a physical running attack, along with the Philadelphia Eagles have a physical running attack, right? So they're looking at teams and going, look, even the Rams run the ball. So they understand this, and it brings balance to their offense. They can control the game when you run the ball. When you think about this first half, it was kind of interesting. their first three possessions, basically they scored. And by their third possession, when you talk about Green Bay, the first two possessions, the Saints only had 11 plays. They were losing 14-0 already. They only had 11 plays, guys, in the first half. Well, how do you do that? I mean, they never got the ball. They went on long, methodical drives. I mean, you're talking, they went on a 96-yard drive. They went on a 67-yard drive. They just went on these long, just drives and just took time off the clock. It was unbelievable how fast the first quarter went by, right? I mean, the first quarter went by. The Saints had two possessions. They had 12 plays in the first quarter. Game's over.
Coach,
down 14-0.
Coach, what do you figure New Orleans does next season at the quarterback position?
Oh, that'll be interesting, right? I mean, Carr's hurt. I mean, he's a veteran guy. And is Spencer Rattler the future? I don't know that. I think that's a question they're going to have to look at their organization, where they want to head. You say that. I mean, what are the Minnesota Vikings going to do? Sam Darnold, what are they going to do about him? He won 13 games. They won him back. Hey, here's another one. What are the Jets going to do? I mean, we know we have a feeling what obviously Atlanta's going to do with the Kirk Cousins situation. So it's kind of interesting when you rent out a quarterback for a year or so, figuring I can catch lightning in a bottle. But then you got to make the decision of, and here's the decision that everyone has to make, and I always say this, if you decide to go in another direction, who are you going to get? Who are you going to get? Think about Sam Darnold. He's won 13 games. You going to say, okay, you can leave now? I don't know. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, very much so. Herm Edwards with us here on Game Night on ESPN Radio. And, Coach, this was the first shutout of the season.
Yeah.
We did this a little bit earlier tonight, so I ask you, big deal or no big deal that this was the first shutout of the year?
That's a big deal. Anytime you can shut out a team in the NFL, it's a big deal. It is. It just is. It's very difficult to do when you think about shutting a team out in the NFL. I mean, that's a hard task because it's built. The NFL's built to score. The rules allow you to score in the NFL because of all the rules that obviously defenders are under and protecting the quarterback. And we want to see scoring. I mean, this is why the NFL has gone the last 20 years to the number one game everybody wants to watch, right? Because of the scoring, because the ball's in the air and the rules. And when you can shut a team out, I mean, that's a pretty good day's work.
Coach, when we were watching the finish of the game, and the Saints had the ball, it was around midfield, a minute and a half to go, and we saw the graphic up on the screen that no team in the league has been shut out yet this year. And I asked Gresh if he thinks that the Saints have any idea of that stat. And both of us agreed probably not. Do you have a guy, like as a coach, does the coach have a guy on his staff who is supposed to let him know throughout the game, presumably late in the game, if there's some kind of weird stat that's happening that he needs to know about?
Well, nothing like that. I think, anytime you don't score, that's not good, right? I mean, in the NFL, you don't score. I mean, when you just think about it, okay, and you go through the games after every week, right? You never see a zero behind the team. You just don't. You look at the scores, they come off on the board or wherever you look at scores. If you see a zero, it's like, wow, haven't seen that before. It just catches you by surprise, right? Now, and when you're on offense, look, they were wounded. I mean, this is a wounded team, the Saints. We know, they lost all the receivers. I mean, they're beaten up pretty badly. Kamara, one of the best players in football. So, but you still felt, can they score? Can they get in the field goal range? And at times they did. They got penalties, right? Or they turned the ball over. It's like, oh, they got close, but they turned the ball over one time in the red zone. Like, oh, boy, that's not good. Right? And then as the game keeps going, and all of a sudden you're going, by the fourth quarter, you're thinking, these guys ain't going to score. That's hard. That's a hard look. That's a hard sell when you think about the National Football League. You shut somebody out.
I really also mean, Coach, like, let's say late in the game, you got a guy on your team who needs to get to like a certain mark for incentives and stuff like that. Like you have a guy on your staff who's designated as the guy to tell the coach about that kind of stuff.
You know that, like Saquon Barkley, right? You know where he's at every week. When there's a significant number where a guy needs another touchdown to break a record, and coaches are aware of that because they want to help guys do that. And this is why, in today's world, it used to be different. Back when I played, contracts were incentivized a lot, where players can make extra money. But it's gotten to the point now, they kind of stay away from that because that can become a burden too, with some of these guys. When you start putting numbers and saying, if you reach this number, because then it becomes more of a me thing than a we thing. And so you got to stay away from that as much as you can. But there are some certain situations, Barkley being one of them, 2,000 yards. Look, and that number that he's trying to reach, I'm going to tell you who really wants him to reach it, is the offensive lineman. They know. They want to be a part of that, of the historical mark that he's about to reach. The offensive lineman want it more than the run, to be quite honest.
Well, and how about this, Coach? The final game of the season for the Eagles, where you would hope that Saquon can get some kind of record. You want to take a guess at who they're playing?
We already know. You can't make it up. You cannot make it up. Can you imagine that? And the owner's going to watch it. And by the way, he's going to watch it and he's going to say, didn't we have the conversation in week one before he left it? I kind of wanted to keep this guy. And now he comes back and he's going to break an NFL record in my stadium for an over 2,000 yards rushing. Oh, boy. You can't make it up.
Embarrassing. Very embarrassing. Coach Herm, always love having you on the show after these games. Thanks a lot for joining us here, as always, on Game Night.
Pleasure's all mine, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Hey, Zaz, can I give you a little nugget here quickly on Jordan Love?
Yeah. First, let me tell you, save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit Progressive.com. This, of course, has been our Monday Night Football recap brought to us by Progressive. Yes, go ahead, Gresh.
How many times has Jordan Love thrown for 300 yards this year?
Oh, he doesn't throw the ball very much.
Well, that's why I kind of asked Coach that question on the whole, can you really? So here you go. Week 1 against the Eagles, threw it 34 times, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 260. They lose. Minnesota, they lose by 2. He was 32 of 54 for 4 touchdowns and 3 picks. And then to your point, 26 attempts, 32, 33, 22, 39, all under 30 the last 5 weeks. He hasn't thrown an interception. So are you leaning on your run game because that's who you are and who you want to be, and the quarterback will add to it? Or are you protecting your quarterback because if he throws the ball more than 35 times, all of a sudden here comes the interception?
It's a great question, and I don't think we know the answer to it yet because we just haven't seen enough of him. It was my biggest concern when, everyone's praising and lauding Jordan Love. We saw him play 8 good games at the end of last regular season, and I was like, all right, here's all the money. Can we pump the brakes a little bit? So I don't know if it's because they feel we're better when we're a running team and we're not risking throwing the ball too much. I think we're going to find out in the playoffs, but I don't think we know the answer to it yet.
And here's another thing on Green Bay. Their losses, Philadelphia, Minnesota, twice to Detroit. They do not have a win against a double-digit win team this year.
Yeah, those are the big boys, though, that you just mentioned there.
Right, and that's why I know the conversation you and I have had throughout the night is Green Bay good, not great. They're in the upper of the mid in the NFL.
Yeah. He's Andy Gresh. I'm Jonathan Zaslow. Coming up next, we'll get post-game reaction from Green Bay, including from the Packers quarterback. That's next. This is Game Night on ESPN Radio.
It's bowl season on ESPN Radio. 25 bowl games, including the college football playoff and national championship game. The electricity, the atmosphere. Coverage continues tomorrow with the Hawaii Bowl at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
ESPN 1530, Cincinnati's sports station.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Getting support from friends online kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
Instead of smoking after I ate, I'd get up and take a walk.
I missed having a cigarette in my hand, so I'd hold a pen or a straw, anything.
Until I knew I wouldn't give in to temptation, I spent more time with my friends who didn't smoke.
I went to places that were smoke-free.
I didn't stay quit the very first time I tried.
I kept on trying, and I learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
I quit.
I quit.
I quit.
We did it, so can you.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
A message from DAV to all returning veterans. Thank you. Thank you for doing your duty. Thank you for doing our bidding. Thank you for laying it all on the line. Thank you for stepping up and not backing down. Thank you for putting your future on hold to put our enemies on notice. Thank you for putting your buddies' lives ahead of your own. Thank you for putting yourself in harm's way. Thank you for defending our freedom, for displaying your honor, for being a hero, even though you don't want to be called one. For all this and more, DAV thanks you, and we're here to help you. Expert DAV advisors will make sure you get the health, disability, and financial benefits you were promised and earned. If you're a veteran, visit DAV.org for free help. And again, thank you.
This is 1530 WCKY, the 50,000-watt orange and black home of the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati's ESPN 1530.
For all the iconic.
Watch this, the corner. Watch the explosion.
And electric.
Hits another. Oh, my goodness.
Come for it all. ACC Men's College Basketball. All season long on ACCN. This is Freddie and Harry.
Jeff in Cleveland.
Man, y'all guys, man, I swear, man, it is amazing, man, how much y'all guys love and much joy y'all bring to people. Harry Douglas, you's a maniac. You said a PP man. Harry, you a fool, man. Harry said a PP man. Stand up. Man, y'all guys, man, I swear, y'all the best in the world.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
ESPN Radio, we are presented by Progressive Insurance. He's Andy Gresh. I'm Jonathan Zaslow. You get all the Christmas shopping out of the way, the holiday shopping? Are you good to go, or are we panicking over the next couple days?
Oh, my God, no. And if my kids don't get anything, I'm not going to be broken up over it. I know they're getting stuff, but at the end of the day, like they're 23 and 20. We've now gotten to the point to where we're into practical gifts now, or, like splurges, or maybe like a family trip or something like that. I know your kids are younger, so I'm assuming you're all set.
Well, we have Hanukkah coming up, which I believe the first night is on Christmas night. We don't do all 8 nights. It's like, all right, let me throw a few gifts your way, and it'll all take care of itself. But I'm not even close to being taken care of in that scenario. I guess,
interesting. Because I know that for different religious denominations, there are people who do handle things differently around this time of year. Yeah. And, you be respectful and all that, but
we're pretty loose in my house.
I was just gonna say, it kind of sounded like it's like a blend of maybe both.
Well, because you know what it is? It's not like my boys get whatever they want whenever they want it. So it's like, all right, we'll get you some gifts here, but it's not like there are things out there you've been pining for that we haven't gotten you. And I'm not trying to say that our boys are spoiled, but it's just like, all right, you want something, you need something, we get it. It's what it is,
I'm kind of with you. So a little bit of what I have fought over the years. My father-in-law is a money manager, so done well, right? Whenever the discussion came up to get the first kid a car, he said, I'll put in the first X. Right. Okay. And that number made me go, huh? Excuse me? The first? Where's the second coming from?
How many of these are there in total?
Exactly. And so, you end up, but to the point, it's like the whole, you kind of figure it out as you go, but it's like, it's different than going out and getting them Tinker Toys whenever they were 4.
Yeah, well, for all you guys out there, if you're not done with your Christmas shopping, your holiday shopping, whatever you got going on, God bless. You're running out of time. The Packers, they beat the Saints 34-0 tonight. Let's hear from Packers quarterback Jordan Love. Here he was. This was on ESPN. He was on the field with Lisa Salters.
Jordan, you're officially going to the playoffs. How's that sound to you?
It's amazing. This is what we work for all season.
Stop playing around! Once again! Punch the ticket!
Come on, man. Come on.
You scared me.
What he said? Yeah.
Well, you said that you could feel the energy around this team just shift as the season has gone on. Just what's the wave of momentum that you're riding right now? What's it feel like?
It's a great feeling. It's a lot of momentum, like you said, and everybody just has the right mindset. We come in every week, get to work, and come out here and make the most of these opportunities. So we just got to carry that into the offseason.
And it's not just the offense. Your defense pitched the first shutout in the league this season. What does that say about your defense?
That's big time. They've been playing great all season, getting better, and it's no secret that they put in the work throughout the week and to come out here and do this. But it's a great defense right there. So hopefully they need to keep doing that.
Yeah, you said that you think that you guys dropped the ball against top-tier teams earlier in the season. You've got the Vikings next week. How do you keep this momentum going against them?
Yeah, it's no secret. We took an L to them earlier in the season, so we're going to have all the motivation to go in that game, and we just got to, like I said, prepare throughout the week and have a great game plan. But, like I said, we dropped a couple early ones, so we're going to have all the motivation for this week.
So there you go. That was Jordan Love on the field on ESPN with Lisa Salters after tonight's victory. Gresh, let me ask you, when did we get to the point that all post-game interviews have to be interrupted by other people, all the shouting and
That's a good point.
When did we get to a place where on live television everyone is so comfortable interrupting these post-interviews and making Lisa Salters' job more difficult?
Yeah, it does feel like a lot, but I guess it's the exuberance of victory versus the agony of defeat. I don't know. I guess I'll go with that corniness. But, yeah, some people just can't help themselves.
Just constant yelling during the on-field interviews. But as far as Jordan Love goes, look, Jordan Love last year, he had a really good second half of the season. And then in the playoffs, won a playoff game and came really close to winning a second playoff game before throwing that interception against the 49ers. What should a realistic expectation be, you think, for Jordan Love this postseason, which presumably they'll be starting off on the road?
I think if you win another game I think I would come away feeling okay in Green Bay.
If you win a playoff game each of your first 2 years as a starter, that's pretty good.
You would think so, but then that also makes you like, a lot of other guys in the NFL. That probably pushes him closer to, like Baker Mayfield than it does Lamar Jackson. Like, because to me, like, Baker's not a bad quarterback, but he's the guy that you have when you're still trying to find your other guy. And I think Green Bay believes in Jordan Love, but if he doesn't start to elevate a little bit, then you're just dealing with a guy who's okay. And you got to ask yourself with the Packers, is that good enough for us? Can we put enough around him? Can Love elevate himself? And like you mentioned, big pick at the 49ers game. If it's 2 years in a row where you win a game, but you kind of whiz it away down the stretch in game 2, then that starts to stick with you a little bit.
So right now the Packers are in the 6th spot, which, right now their current playoff matchup would be at the NFC West winner, which the leader right now is the Los Angeles Rams. They find themselves a game up on Washington, and that's important because that's the difference between playing at Los Angeles and playing at Philadelphia. Final 2 games for the Los Angeles Rams. They are at Minnesota next week, and then they host Chicago the final week. So they're in a pretty good spot to be able to go out on the road in the first round. That's a very winnable game for them if they were to play on the road first round at the Rams. Very winnable.
Yeah, maybe a team that's kind of similar wants to run it a little bit. Offensive-minded coach, 2 guys who know each other, a lot of tight pants, so America will love it.
All right, so there you go. Week 16 is done, and we are a day and a half away. There's no way that's ever happened before, right? Where you had Monday, weekends, and then we're turning it around already on Wednesday. Thursday happens every single week, but we are a day and a half away from Christmas games, Netflix, Week 17 getting started. It's all happening. All right, excellent job by everybody involved tonight. Gresh, I enjoyed this.
Yep.
Sports Center all night with Jay Reynolds is next.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman from Unsportsmanlike. I just wanted to wish everyone a happy and healthy holiday and a happy new year. And a reminder to tune into Unsportsmanlike every weekday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text SLASH to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text SLASH to 321-321. That's SLASH to 321-321.
ESPN 1530.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with a new way to enjoy our beautiful planet. Reduce your impact on the environment this fall by packing a waste-free lunch for school or work. Avoid foods with excessive packaging. Use reusable cutlery, napkins, cups, bags, and containers, and recycle or compost any waste when possible. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth. iHeartRadio Earth is here with little tips for a healthier planet. When dining out or shopping at the grocery store, ask for sustainable seafood. By choosing sustainable seafood, you can help reduce overfishing, bycatch, loss of top predators, illegal fishing, and other harmful environmental impacts. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
Many of our U.S. veterans and service members face challenges. At the Bob Woodward Foundation, we invest in solutions to help support them in the next chapter of their lives. Learn more about our work at bobwoodwardfoundation.org/success.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
If you or a loved one has sleep apnea, you can help advance research that may lead to a cure. myapnea.org is an online community where providers, researchers, families, and patients can share and learn from each other. Fill out the online survey and wake up to a better future at myapnea.org, a public service from the American Sleep Apnea Association.
ESPN 1530 Cincinnati. Available everywhere with the iHeartRadio app. Now #1 for podcasting. ESPN 1530, an iHeartRadio station.
Coming up on SportsCenter all night.
It's a matchup on the frozen tundra as the Saints face the Packers.
Handoff Jacobs, blasting off the left side, fighting his way to the end zone. Touchdown! 14th touchdown of the season for Josh Jacobs, a personal best.
The NFL playoff picture is taking shape with the season down to the wire.
You know, we're at a weird spot right now where, you know, we're still fighting for the 1 seed, but we don't control our own destiny. And as an offense, it's how much are we willing to show? Are we wanting to go extreme and show everything in our arsenal? There's a line that you got to toe.
Bowl season rolls on.
To the other side. They're going to throw it to Demopoulos. Tries to throw it to Partridge. Touchdown near side. Demopoulos finds Partridge. 25 yards out.
Plus a night on the hardwood.
Jaylen Brown working on Anthony Black. Backs him down on the left side. Swings in the lane and makes the shot. 19 first half points for Jaylen to lead back to 13. And Drew Holiday steals the inbounds pass and lays it in. The sack! The potato sack!
From the worldwide headquarters of ESPN, this is SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Now, here's Jay Reynolds.
The sleigh ride is getting underway. SportsCenter all night, ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM, Channel 80. 'Tis the day before Christmas and Hanukkah. They coincide this year. Wishing you joy as you celebrate this week. No NFL action Christmas Eve on Tuesday, but Week 17 gets underway with a pair of games on Christmas on Wednesday, and that's right on the heels of the end of Week 16, which wrapped up Monday night. Some conditions in Green Bay that Santa would certainly approve of. No snow, but temperatures right at the freezing mark for Packers and Saints. Green Bay getting the ball first. They started on a 10-play drive.
Out of the shotgun, here's the snap to Love. He sets, he waits, he throws, middle, touchdown, Dontavian Wicks. Love got rid of it just before Demario Davis hit him from behind. 2-yard touchdown. Reception, Dontavian Wicks.
Saints then punt on their first possession, and the Packers wind up going on a 17-play drive spanning 9 minutes.
And they're up to the line of scrimmage on 1st and goal. Handoff Jacobs, blasting off the left side, fighting his way to the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown of the season for Josh Jacobs, a personal best. It is 13-0 Green Bay.
So there you have it. Packers, 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns. Saints go 3 and out and punt again. Back to the Packers, and 6 plays later.
Green Bay goes quickly, no huddle. Love under center. Takes the snap, hands it off, up the middle, getting the call. It is Chris Brooks barreling into the end zone for the touchdown. Green Bay Packers. It is 20-0.
You know what, Wayne? It's nice to see Chris Brooks get that touchdown.
Packers up 3 touchdowns at the break. As for the Saints, they would look to rally after making halftime adjustments.
24-0 Packers late in the third. And out of the straight eye, back to throw off play action. And Rattler throws left side. Intercepted. Intercepted by Zane Anderson. And he makes the turn across the 15 out to the 20-yard line. How about that?
And just like that, Packers had the ball again. 97-3 the game. Packers go on to a 34-0 shutout of the Saints. It's actually the first shutout the NFL has seen this season.
December 23rd, marking the latest we have seen, the first shutout of a season in NFL history in terms of calendar date. Packers, more importantly, with the win, clinch a playoff berth, marking their 5th playoff appearance in 6 seasons under Matt LaFleur. 34-0 the final, largest shutout victory since 2007 against the Vikings. Jordan Love, 16 of 28, 182 yards, touchdown pass, which came in the first quarter. After the win, he spoke with our Lisa Salters.
Jordan, you're officially going to the playoffs. How's that sound to you?
It's amazing. You know, this is what we work for all season.
Once again, punch the ticket.
Come on, man. Come on.
You scared me. He's scared.
What he said? Yeah.
But you said that you could feel the energy around this team just shift as the season has gone on. Just what's the wave of momentum that you're riding right now? What's it feel like?
It's a great feeling. It's a lot of momentum, like you said, and everybody just has the right mindset. You know, we come in every week, get to work, and come out here and make the most of these opportunities. So we just got to carry that into the offseason.
And it's not just the offense. Your defense pitched the first shutout in the league this season. What does that say about your defense?
That's big time. You know, they've been playing great all season, getting better, and you know, it's no secret that they put in the work throughout the week and to come out here and do this. But it's a great defense right there. So hopefully they need to keep doing that.
Yeah, you said that you think that you guys dropped the ball against top-tier teams earlier in the season. You've got the Vikings next week. How do you keep this momentum going against them?
Yeah, it's no secret. You know, we took an L to them earlier in the season, so we're going to have all the motivation to go in that game, and we just got to, like I said, prepare throughout the week and have a great game plan. But, you know, like I said, we dropped a couple early ones, so we're going to have all the motivations for this week.
Packers with their 5th straight game in which they've scored at least 30 points, second longest streak in franchise history after a 7-game streak back in 1963. 5 straight games with at least 30 points. They scored 34 in this one and shut out the Saints, who had their largest shutout loss since a 38-0 loss to the Niners in Week 17 in 2001. Saints ran 2 plays inside the Packers' 30-yard line in this game. Both resulted in turnovers, strip sack, and an interception. Packers get the dominating win. NFC North has been one tough division this season. Packers pick up their 11th win with the victory on Monday night. They are 3rd in the division. Lions, Packers, 13-2. Packers and Vikings coming up on Sunday. Our Monday Night Football ESPN crew, Hall of Famer Troy Aikman and Joe Buck.
I think they're right there at the top. Obviously, you have to tip your cap to the Lions, just persevering through all these injuries. They don't want to hear about it, but they are a very banged-up team. And then you've got Minnesota and you've got Green Bay, and I think any one of those 3 you could realistically say, and add Philly, obviously, but in this division alone, right, any one of those 3 could represent the NFC in the Super Bowl, and you wouldn't be surprised at all. And I think it's going to be a great game next week. It takes place in Minneapolis, which is advantage Vikings, but they will have their hands full when they kick off against Green Bay.
For all the conversation about Saquon in Philadelphia and his impact there, Derrick Henry's impact in Baltimore, can't we add Josh Jacobs to the mix of a running back who changes jerseys and is significantly changing the way a team is able to play? He's been fantastic, hasn't he?
Oh, we absolutely can and have, quite honestly. He's been terrific. And like I said, last year with the Raiders was a down year for him. A big part of that was, you know, what he was playing within, and the offense obviously wasn't anywhere close with the players he had around him there in Las Vegas compared to here in Green Bay. But a lot of it also lands at Matt LaFleur and the job that he's been able to do within this scheme. I just think he's terrific, and we've seen the beneficiary of that being Josh Jacobs and the way that they get him the ball, and he's run the ball, but he's also been really good within the passing game and some of the screen game. They're not real exotic with him as a receiver. He's not Marshall Faulk in that sense. He doesn't run wide receiver type routes, but like we saw tonight, when he gets the ball, he's able to make people miss, whether it's running the ball or catching it, and he's really effective. He's a load to get to the ground, and he's added a dimension to this offense, you know, that's a little different. It's not taking anything away from Aaron Jones, because he's terrific as well. And this city loves Aaron Jones, and the organization certainly does. Right. But I know they feel very fortunate to have Josh Jacobs and what he's meant. But also when you talk to Josh Jacobs and you see him, he's embraced being a Packer, and he's blended in extremely well, and it's been fun to see.
Josh Jacobs, 69 yards rushing, had a touchdown as well. 6th consecutive game with a rushing touchdown. Packers with the 34-0 win over the Saints on Monday night. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio.
Hurts back. He's going to run. He goes up the middle again. He is across the 20 and down to the 19.
Jalen's going to come out for a play.
We go into a game with a plan if that were to happen. We go into a game with a plan if both guys were to go down and Tanner were to be in.
Jalen Hurts left for more than a play, left early Sunday in the loss to the Commanders. ESPN insider Adam Schefter.
He will go through concussion protocol this week to see whether or not he can be cleared in time for Sunday's game against the Dallas Cowboys, a game that the NFL moved up today to 1 o'clock Eastern. There's a question about the Eagles' other quarterback as well. Kenny Pickett suffered a rib injury, but the focus right now is on Jalen Hurts. We've seen players clear through protocol in a week. That certainly has happened before, but there also is a lot of question about Philadelphia standing here. They are a win away from clinching the NFC East title, but it's going to be increasingly difficult for the Eagles now to capture the number 1 seed that could belong to either Detroit or Minnesota. And so that could enter into the decision as well. The team's going to be very careful with Jalen Hurts. They'll go through the steps this week. They'll see whether or not they can get that done. But again, he will have to clear through protocol before he can be cleared to play if he plays Sunday against the Cowboys.
Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are 12-3 on the season. Even if Hurts can go, should he? ESPN analyst Marcus Spears.
Look, the concussion obviously is an issue that you got to deal with anyway, and if he's not ready to go, they're not going to put him on the field. But then you get into the validity of how much winning the division equates to you being healthy overall going into the playoffs. And I just don't think you sacrifice that, because just like this game against the Washington Commanders, Jalen Hurts gets out there on the field, and I know you can't play for injuries, but why waste that in a game that really ain't going to matter at that point, as opposed to him taking those chances when you actually in the tournament? That would be my level of thinking. I don't know what other incentive they have to play Jalen Hurts outside of maybe it helping Saquon Barkley get the rushing title, which I think he can still get anyway with a quarterback, with one of the quarterbacks in there, but I would sit him down.
Eagles had the Cowboys and the Giants in the final 2 weeks of the regular season. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio. NBA has a handful of games on Christmas Day. The association, though, idle for Christmas Eve. That would mean a full slate of action for Monday. Cavaliers continuing their success this season.
Cavs at the other end. Mobley, 3. Got it! Evan Mobley. Wow. All of a sudden, he's up to 21 points with 5 quick ones here in the fourth.
And all of a sudden, he's making threes like layups, Tim, for about a week now.
Shooting over 40% from beyond the arc. What an improvement for Evan Mobley. He's worked so hard.
WTAM with the call. Cavs, a 124-113 win over the Jazz. Cavs improving to 26-4 this season, tied for their best 30-game start in franchise history, matching the start they had in 2008. Cavs are 6-0 against the Western Conference this season. They made 23s in 3 straight games. First time they've done that in franchise history. Celtics, meanwhile, starting the season 19-4, but they have slowed since then. Monday against Orlando.
Wendell waiting to set the screen. Shot clock down to 10. Jalen takes the Dell screen. Gives to Wendell at the free throw line. Now Queen on the left wing. Into the corner. De Silva. Good look for 3. Got it! The Rook cashed it in! A 4-point Magic lead!
FM 96.9 the game. Magic, a 4-point win over the Celtics. 108-104. Magic winning consecutive games, each when trailing by at least 15. First time they've done that in a decade. Celtics recording season lows in the number of three-pointers they made. They made only 8 in this one, although they attempted 33. Celtics had attempted at least 40 in 28 consecutive games. That was the longest streak in NBA history. They wind up losing this one. Celtics are 3-3 in their last 6 after beginning the season with that 19-4 mark. Short night of work for Joel Embiid.
Down goes Wembanyama. Embiid collided with him in an
offensive foul on Joel. Embiid pounds the floor. The call made by Jenna Schroeder, and Embiid jogging back to argue the call. I think Joel making his point to the official, having to be separated by Kyle Lowry. Bobby Jackson runs out, and Joel's give a tee. And Jenna Schroeder just throwing out. Embiid is really hot. The Sixers swarm him. Anthony Bump Jackson and the security team comes over. Bobby Jackson and Doug West. Jenna Schroeder teed up Embiid. She gave the premature tee to Andre Drummond. Embiid is furious. I don't know that we've ever seen him at an official this angry.
And Embiid, 9 points in 14 minutes after being tossed in the first half, drew a couple of technicals after that charge against Victor Wembanyama. Sixers go on to the win, 111-106 over the Spurs, but it was an early night for Joel Embiid. His coach, Nick Nurse.
Just the whole thing was really strange, right? Without looking at the tape to see what was actually going on there, I doubt that he was going down because of such aggressive pushing, that there was probably a little bit of whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah, so seemed really strange. All three of the calls seem really strange to me, but on we go.
Embiid leaves early. Sixers get the win. They've won 7 of their last 10 after a 3-14 start. Much more dominant performance thus far this season from one conference. That's next. SportsCenter All Night continues. It's ESPN Radio.
It's bowl season on ESPN Radio. 25 bowl games, including the college football playoff and national championship game.
The electricity, the atmosphere.
Coverage continues tomorrow with the Hawaii Bowl at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. More SportsCenter All Night coming up next.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
ESPN 1530.
In today's Marketers Report, Erica Taylor, Chief Marketing Officer of Genentech, weighs in on audio's ability to reach any audience.
Everyone is listening somewhere, somehow. So it's a great way to take something very precise in what we're trying to do to reach patients with something that I think we can all agree is somewhat broad in reaching many, many different audiences.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, influencers, insights, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
So how are things? Family good?
Yeah, they're doing well.
Well, hey, we missed you at the game last week. Is everything all right?
I just haven't been feeling like me lately.
Hey, you know I'm here for you, right? And there's support too.
That's a cut. Beautiful, fellas. Beautiful. Acting is one thing. Talking about suicide in real life is another.
In the military, you take challenges head on.
And now it's your turn to do the same for our veterans.
Be there for someone you care about.
Learn how you can start the conversation at BeThereForVeterans.com.
Hi, I'm Craig Morgan. You might know me for my songs, but before I sang country music, I served in the United States Army, where I stood side by side with some of the most resilient people I've ever met. They taught me that one small act can make a big difference during tough times. If you're a veteran or service member in crisis or having thoughts of suicide, the Veterans Crisis Line can help. One conversation can save a life. Call 1-800-273-8255 and press 1 or visit veteranscrisisline.net.
Hey, it's Mo Egger. Your place to talk about the 2024 Bengals is right here on the official home of the Bengals, ESPN 1530 Cincinnati Sports Station.
Listening to Sports Center all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Now, here's Jay Reynolds.
Glad you can make Sports Center all night part of your night. You're traveling for the holidays. Be safe. Sports Center all night is presented by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? They're yours, and Progressive protects them both. Bundled today at progressive.com. College basketball on Monday, the top team in the nation in action. Number 1 Tennessee facing Middle Tennessee.
And a final last shot is no good. And Tennessee now moves to 12-0 on the season as the Volunteers dominate the second half against Middle Tennessee. And the Vols now go away with a victory, 82-64 over Middle.
Bob Kessling with Carl Learfield. Top-ranked Tennessee trailed by 6 points at the half. The first halftime deficit they've seen this season, but outscored Middle Tennessee 48-24 in the second half, and the Vols improved to 12-0 this season, matching the second-best start in program history. They started 14-0 on a couple of occasions. 1 of 4 remaining unbeaten teams in Division I. Drake, Florida, Oklahoma, the other 3. Tennessee, 12-0. Florida, Oklahoma, also 12-0. 5 other teams in the conference with just 1 loss. The SEC has 10 teams currently ranked in the top 25. SEC Network analysts Dallin Cuff and John Crispin.
The dumbest, they are that good. I think there are a lot of times we overhype everything. Right? We are absolutely guilty of that. Baby. By we, I mean everybody else that's not at this desk. But no, we really do. But there's a reason why we're looking at the SEC the way we are. There's a reason why we're talking about them. We don't have the star power. Yes, there's Cooper Flag. Yes, there's Ace Bailey. There are guys out there that we should talk about. But there are teams that are better than any of those individuals, and that happens to be made up of the entire stinking SEC. Yeah. I mean, it's not just top to bottom, too. It is bottom to top. That's what makes it so competitive. You look at a great league and you say, all right, are they top heavy? Well, yeah, to a degree. What's the middle look like? Well, consistent. The middle looks very consistent. They look like second weekend teams. Yeah. What's the bottom look like? Entirely competitive. Yeah. And I think that's what makes it such a grind. I mean, you look at the schedules. I mean, this is a Tennessee team. Yes, we understand their capability, number 1 in the country right now. But it's not the Arkansas and Florida and the Auburns and Mississippi State, all the teams with little numbers next to it. It's Texas, Georgia, Vanderbilt. There's not an easy game in the mix.
No, there's not. I mean, South Carolina's unranked. They beat Clemson, one of the best teams in the ACC. Look at Missouri. They beat Kansas. Like, they have wins everywhere. You take a look at these schedules. There's nothing easy coming down the pipe. I will say this, when you look at 2019, we had Zion. You mentioned stars. Yeah. Zion was a star. He was a comet. But there were other great teams in the ACC, 2 other 1 seeds in Carolina and UVA, eventual national champs, that helped carry the flag for that season as we all built around Zion. I hope we're seeing the same thing with the product, the quality of the play. And a team like Oklahoma, a surprise team. Jeremiah Fears, one of the best freshman guards, one of the best guards. So when you look at these 3 teams in particular, and you looked at some of those schedules, who was most likely to remain unbeaten the longest?
Probably the team I've talked the most, or the least about, I should say, in Florida. Yeah. Somehow Florida kind of slides under the radar. They haven't gotten the hype. Yet when you look at how they play, they move the basketball so well. They space you out. When the ball moves, the body moves with the ball. That's a continuity that you don't see until later in the season, particularly the way teams are made up today. Mm-hmm. You bring multiple guys in. It takes a while to develop a feel for one another. They have a midseason feel right now. Yeah. And I think that's something that separated Auburn from everybody else. They were in midseason form early on when other teams are trying to figure out who one another is. Like playground dynamics. What are you all about? What can I do for this team? How can I get more time? They seem to understand who one another is. Roles are kind of going to be evolving over time. But I think that's what makes Florida really good. When they move the basketball, they just have to defend okay. Yeah. They don't have to be a lockdown defensively team because of their ability to score.
Tennessee rallying in the second half for the win over Middle Tennessee to remain unbeaten at 12-0. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio. Back to the NBA, Bucks and Bulls, and this one was all Milwaukee.
Middleton's got it. He works around a screen from Portis.
fades and fires on the baseline. What a shot. I'll tell you, he is back. Chris Middleton's got 21 points now, and it's been shots like that throughout this game tonight. He is looking razor sharp.
Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, each with 21. Bobby Portis, 19 points and 13 rebounds. Bucks beating Chicago 112-91. Bucks playing without Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard. Middleton setting a season high for the second game in a row. He had 18 in Saturday's win over Washington. He had 21 in this one. The three-time All-Star had missed the first 21 games following surgery on both ankles. As for Giannis, missed his second consecutive game because of back spasms. The fourth game he has missed this season. Dame Lillard missing his third game in a row, this time because of an illness. The 8-time All-Star sitting out the two previous games with a strained right calf. As for the Knicks and Raptors.
6 seconds left. Catch and shoot three, far side break. It's good for Mikal Bridges. It rolled around and down. He's got 4 3-pointers tonight. And the Knicks have a 111-82 lead heading to the fourth quarter.
880 ESPN New York. Knicks get 31 from Karl Anthony Towns. 11 of 15 shooting for him. 31 points, 7 assists. His third game with 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 70% shooting this season. That's the most